Welcome to the middle of the African bush for a live safari, and what a way to start the Father's Day spectacular, but with a female leopard, and this is Safari Live. Ready.
Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live, you are live.
Good afternoon everybody, and welcome to this Father's Day weekend special safari here from the magnificence of the iconic Kruger National Park. It's 24 degrees Celsius, 76 degrees Fahrenheit. My name is James, on camera is Dave. Out there you've seen Brent with a leopard already, Jamie's out with a hyena, and Steph's out on foot, scouring the landscape on foot. Send us your questions, hashtag Safari Live, send us your Father's Day shout-outs for tomorrow. We'll read them out tomorrow, same time, same place. Let's go straight back to that incredible leopard.
The most incredible thing just happened. We are with this female leopard, but her last cub, who's a young male, is also here. And she's currently got another small cub, and she's trying to defend that cub from her last cub. And they've just had a little dust up. She gave him a big smack, and she's trying to keep him away from this area to the east of us, which is sort of directly in front of where we're facing now and where she's looking. So we're really convinced that she's got a cub here, and she's trying to keep this young male leopard away from the cub. We're just going to move forward a little bit so we can keep with them. She's keeping her body between this young male leopard, even though he is also her son, and where the other cub is possibly. The other cub's tiny, only 3 months old. And a young male leopard like this poses a huge threat to a little cub. Now, there is quite a story to this, and we will go into it in depth, but let's just see what action's happening right now. And again, sorry, I'm so excited. This is live. We're in the middle of the African bush. If you want to ask us questions, send it to the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. If we listen carefully now, she's making this little oh, and that is trying to call the cub. And then we just heard the young male answer, and then she growled directly at him. Now, unfortunately, he might have already killed the cub. It's not unusual for leopards to walk around and call for a cub in an area where it has already died. But fingers crossed that that little cub is still okay. We're going to try to stick with her now. There we go. Hiding in the bush just opposite us now is the young male. He's called Sindile. And you can see he's got a satellite collar on him. Now, he had quite a rough start to life. Last year, as he was slowly becoming independent from his mother, he caught a domestic dog that came through from the villages. And unfortunately, that dog tested positive for rabies. Oh, looks like she's ready to charge back at him. Just get ourselves in the best position. We can just make sure we know what's going on. Let's stick with her. As I was saying, this dog had rabies, and he had to get darted and removed and go into quarantine. So he had a whole bunch of ejections. He was off the reserve. He was released recently after about 7 months in quarantine, and she's now moved his way back into the area he grew up with. But while he's been gone, his mom has had more cubs. So he's probably a little bit confused, and she's confused. She's got more cubs, but at his age, he shouldn't be with mom. So she's trying to keep him away from the other cubs. Trying to figure out what's going on. He's laying down there. Let's go back to the female. And I forgot to say, by the way, I'm Brent, and welcome to Safari Live. Isn't this amazing? So we're gonna stick with her because he's likely to follow her, and we want to be in the right spot to catch them when they do tussle again. And a huge Safari Live welcome to Carrie. Carrie, great to have you on the back of the vehicle. Now, this female leopard's name is Shadow, and that young male's name is Sindile, and they're two of the characters we see quite often here. Oh, listen to her calling. Carrie, I'll get back to your question now. The way she's calling, I'm starting to think that young male might have caught the cub. But this is Africa at its most raw. She's very, very focused. So Carrie was wondering, is this the first time Sindile and Shadow, these two leopards, have met since he's been back? It's the first time we know of, Carrie. So we can't be certain. And isn't this amazing? She is mere 5 foot from the vehicle. Oh. Wait, no. Get on quickly, she's stalking. Sorry guys, I'm in a bad spot. I'm just gonna have to reverse a bit. Okay, so we've got her right here next to the vehicle. That young male is sniffing about in the bushes ahead. We can just catch glimpses of him. Now, can you believe we are live in the middle of the African bush, and we are seeing something that very, very few people have ever seen. I've never seen an interaction like this between a mother and a son, and I've been living in the bush since I was a baby. I can't see where he is. We've still got her. Oh, he's just in front of her. I'm going to try and sneak through here. You might see me drive over some bushes, guys, but don't worry. We don't actually hurt them. I literally drove through here just now, and they pop up. We're very careful about how we drive over trees. We use the middle of the car. Okay, she's laying down again. There she is. She is about... Oh, you can hear that growling. Listen to that. Now that's not a sound you want to hear when you're on foot in a thicket. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to duck. Oh, they're on the move again. Hold on! We got it. She's looked like she chased after it. Vim, do you see them? They're right next to each other. She's trying to chase him away. But he's not going. Obviously, he's probably quite confused. He's like, what's my mom doing? But she has to protect the next generation of her cubs. So he's actually contact calling to her, going, oh, oh. Basically, he's saying, Mom, Mom. And she's obviously telling him, it's time to leave home, son. But in probably a little bit more of an aggressive way. Now, this is live, I must reiterate you. We are following two leopards, a female chasing a male on this Father's Day weekend, live safari. And again, if you want to know what's going on, I'll try my best to interpret it for you. Just use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. huge Safari Live welcome to Laura. Oh, she's chasing him, she's running them. Oh, she just stopped. He went up onto that termite mound. Let's get a bit closer. Laura, I'll be back with you in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Now, we've been sitting with them for a really long time, and incredibly, they seemed to know it was TV time because they literally started moving and, and having a bit of action in the few seconds before we went live. Now, we can't set this up. We can't control what happens. Oh, isn't this gorgeous? So there are both of them. And there you can see the satellite tracking collar. Now that it's a bit more calm, I can explain it a bit better. So this has been put on by scientists. It's not often they get to put a satellite tracking collar on a dispersal male, and that's what he is. So once he's reached independence from his mom, he becomes a dispersal male. And it's very interesting to see how far they move from their natal territory. Ooh. Look, he's moving very carefully. What's she gonna do? Is she gonna pounce on him? I think she might. Wow, look at that. Hi, Laura. Sorry, I'm back to you now. Look at her, she's still hissing and snarling at him. Laura, I'm gonna get back to you. I think there's a chance they might tussle again. Isn't this amazing? Whatever happens, she seems really not to want him to get over there. Well, it looks like we might have a bit of a standoff again, so we can slow things down a bit. Let's try and get you in a good spot to see both of them. Say when Vim. A bit more forward. How's that? So Laura wants to know why they are so calm around our vehicles. Laura, well, great to have you on the back of the vehicle firstly. But Laura, these animals have been habituated to the presence of safari vehicles. They have both had game drives around them since they were a few weeks old. And if you drive carefully and respectfully around them and you don't cross a certain boundary, you don't push them with the vehicles, they pretty much carry on as normal while we're here. And I mean, this is proper leopard behavior. And as I said, leopard behavior that I haven't seen before, and I've been living in the bush since I was a baby. This is absolutely amazing. Must be because it's the Father's Day weekend. Now, I even forgot to introduce my incredible cameraman, Wiem. There was just too much action happening. But Viem's on camera with me, giving you the best view of these leopards. See, she's shepherding him. She's just keeping him away from that eastern thicket there. Try to stick with them as they move through the bush. Sometimes they do make it a little bit difficult, but it looks like we're going for another standoff. How's that for you, Vim? You got both? Perfect. Looks like he's using the bush as a little bit of protection. As I was saying about that scientist, sorry, there's so much happening around me. And again, we're alive. It's incredible. Now, that collar is a drop-off collar. So it's actually got a timer to set. As soon as his neck gets too tight on it, it pops off. So, and then the scientists can go back and collect it without having to dart or interfere with the animal again. Now, of course, it could be a little bit cumbersome, but it is producing incredible research on how male leopards move after they leave their mothers, seeing how far they can go, whether they stay close to their natal territory. And the reason they have to move away from their moms is because of inbreeding. They might end up mating with their sisters or their half-sisters. So female leopards will sequester a tiny portion of their territory to their daughters. And as they get older, their territory gets smaller and smaller, and their territories of their daughters surround them. Oh, look at that. So, I'm not the only one out here, but we've got such incredible action with these leopards. That's why we're staying here. We've got Jamie out in another car. We've got Steph out on foot. And of course, I think you did meet James, who's in the tent. So, but while there's action happening, we're going to stick with it. What I have been hoping is we are going to see, oh, look at this. So she's scent marking. That's a tutorial display. When she drags her feet and then urinates, she turns over the dust. What that does, it makes her scent last a little bit longer. And if any of you guys there at home are great movie lovers, the smell of leopard urine smells like buttered movie popcorn. And Laura, I haven't forgotten you. A huge welcome again, Laura. Laura's in Alabama. And Laura would like to know why they're so calm around the vehicles. So we are a mere 6 or 7 feet away from the female at the moment. And she's grown up with vehicles. So you can habituate the animals to vehicles. They don't actually see you as a person on the vehicle. And a vehicle doesn't smell like anything that they have an instinctive response to. So it smells like gas and oil. It doesn't make a sound like an animal. And basically, if you take your time and you drive carefully around them, the animals become almost completely oblivious. I wouldn't say completely oblivious. They know we're here, but they carry on with their daily happenings without taking too much notice. It's when you start pushing them, which of course we don't do and no one out here does. And well, I even forgot to mention I'm in Arathusa Private Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands, South Africa. For those of you wondering, an exquisite piece of property in this part of the world. Oh, bless you. All that growling must have got some dust up her nose. So this is Shadow. And she was called Shadow because she can disappear into the shadows very easily. She's about 11 years old, if my memory serves me correct. So we've got an intimate relationship with these animals. We've been following them for years. Oh, there we go. There's the cub call again. See if she's going to do it again. Nope. So we've got a really intimate understanding of the lives of the leopards and lions and other creatures out here. We've been out here following them with cameras for many years now, and we're just really happy to be able to share this with you guys at home. And imagine, live, I never thought it would be possible in my guiding days to be taking a live safari with people all around the world with you at one time. Now things have calmed down a little bit with the leopards. We're going to go across into a little break, but come straight back, don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. Sure. Well, guys, isn't this been an incredible start for our regulars out there who are unable to get the TV show itself? We'll never forget you, and always with us. But isn't this amazing to see both Sindile and Shadow together? And this behavior that's being displayed is incredible. I need to take a breath. It's been so exciting. So we've been sitting with them. I went out with the trackers after breakfast and we found them at around 11. And then we went back and we left Johnson, one of the trackers, sitting with the leopards till I came out. And they literally didn't do anything for 3 hours. And then literally 30 seconds before TV, pandemonium. But it's incredible. It looks like they're going to rest up again for a little while. There seems to be a bit of a stalemate happening. They're both quite full, so there's no reason for them to actually move too far off. But he's really, really determined to try get to that area behind us, and she's very determined to keep him away. I am a little bit worried with those cub calls, those oh calls, that he might have already killed the other cub. But let's hope she's managed to keep it safe. There we go. There's Mr. Sindile. Having a snooze. There we go, there's the cub call again. Now it's been amazing. He's been calling to her like he used to. And every time he calls to her, she growls. This shadow. What a way to start the Father's Day weekend. Absolutely amazing. Now, as he lifted his head, she started growling. He's popped his head back down again. Any little movement he makes generally causes her. Well, we're going to sit here and hopefully we'll be back with a lot more action in a short while. But I know James has been watching in the tent and I'm sure he's as excited as I am.
I am excited, but I'm also jealous because I'm sitting in the tent here. But we have said some amazing rover stuff. The rover is parked down by the waterhole. Apparently I sound a bit soft. How do I sound now? 40 seconds, 40 until we go back to the TV, everybody. Still a bit soft. Can you turn my levels up? Or shall I speak a bit louder? Are we okay now? Sorry about this. Wonderful internet audience. Thank you for being with us. It's so great to have our old faithfuls with us. It's like a whole bunch of you sitting on the back of the car, patting us on the back and encouraging us. It's really wonderful. I'm going to be quiet now. Here we go. Welcome back everybody. What an astonishing start. You are on a live safari here in the iconic Kruger National Park. We've just had a leopardess with her young cub wandering about the place. There's some conflict there that Brent's told you about. Jamie's sitting with a hyena, Brent's with an elephant, there's been buffalo at the waterhole. It's all go here. Now, we are in the middle of Africa. We're on the northeastern fringes of South Africa, quite possibly the most beautiful country on all of planet Earth. And in the northeast corner of South Africa is the Kruger National Park. And on the western fringes of that, of course, the Sabi Sand, a collection of private nature reserves where we find ourselves now. Off to the far east, we've got Mozambique, and that's off to the north, we've got Zimbabwe, and altogether 8.5 million acres of untrammeled wildlife wilderness wonderland where the animals are free to come and go as they please. Now let's zoom in here. I'll show you a little bit about where we are. We are on 3,000 acres of Djuma. That's Djuma, wonderful piece of land, and Jamie's sitting around there. On Arathusa here, 2,000 acres of wonderful land here. Brent is sitting over there with those two incredible leopards. And down here, we also go to a place called Cheetah Plains, a beautiful spit of land with lovely clearings where the cheetahs roam, somewhere around there. Bushwalk, Steph is around here. Let's go straight back to those unbelievable leopards.
Welcome back. She's calling for the cub. So the young male's behind us. She's on the move again, and she's looking for that cub. I'm going to stick with the female. It's likely that if that young male is still going to keep following her. Now, I'm just going to warn everyone out there that just got to be a little bit careful, because there is a possibility that he might have already killed that cub, and it's not uncommon for female leopards to pick up their dead offspring and walk around with them, and in some circumstances even eat them. But we are on a live African safari following this incredible female leopard called Shadow through the bush. And on Arathusa Private Game Reserve. And we've actually got 2 leopards. And could not have asked for a more fantastic way to start Father's Day. That's her calling for the cub. I'm just going to keep quiet so you guys can hear that sound. So we're going to stick with her. Let's have a look behind us to make sure that the young male's not following yet. Can you see him, Vim? Is he following? Doesn't look like he's following just yet, but let's stick with the female. So she's the dominant female leopard in this area, and we have been blessed with incredible sightings of her and of her young male over the course of the last year and a bit that I've been here. And just isn't this incredible? This is live. Remember, if you want to ask any questions about what's going on, use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, if you want to send a shout out to your dad on Father's Day, you can do that today. And we'll be doing dad shout outs on Father's Day tomorrow. I can hear him responding to her calls. She's on her way. Huge Safari Live. Welcome to Tarry. Welcome on the back of the vehicle. And I hope you are excited, as I am, to be following leopards through the African bush live. Tarry, you'd like to know, will we ever get a chance to see a big adult male leopard? Well, if our luck continues like this, who knows, maybe one will join this sighting. That's the most amazing thing about being out in the bush and being live. Anything could happen. And with her calling and making all this noise, if there is the dominant male Tingana around, he will definitely come into this area. We can hear the young male responding, and he's actually walking back towards us. This is the area she's been trying to keep that young male out of. might get some action shortly. He's started following her again. Let's try and get in the best position if she does go for him again. Now look at that body language change from her. Look at those flat ears. Look at those flat ears. And he's still about 15 meters away. So while we wait here, she's going to lie down. Jamie has got another one of Africa's apex predators to show you.
From one spotted predator to another, what an incredible safari experience you are all enjoying. And you've arrived at exactly the right moment, because this scene was one where a saga that is as old as the African bush in its current form played out just hours ago. And as we look upon this grisly sight, you can see what remains of a buffalo and a spotted hyena that is gorging itself on whatever meat it can get out of it. I haven't even had a chance to introduce myself. It's been such an incredible afternoon, but my name is Jamie, and this afternoon the man behind the camera is Brian, and the thumb, of course, making an appearance as always. Now, I'm whispering because while we've been sitting here, the game has changed completely, and we've actually found ourselves between the hyena and a herd of elephants that is slowly making their way towards us. So that's why I'm keeping my voice down. On this windy afternoon, I don't think that the elephants have realized that the hyenas are here. And elephants absolutely do not appreciate the presence of predators. And they could well, at any moment when they work out that the hyenas are here, come charging through. So we're just going to keep my voice nice and soft so that we don't startle them in any way. Now, on this special Father's Day weekend, you might not have been able to take your dad out to the middle of the African bush, but I think we have the next best thing, a live safari. We're sitting right in the middle of the bush, far away from any of the roads, watching this incredible scene play out in front of us. While our hyena munches away and we keep an eye on what's happening with these elephants, it seems like Steph is out on foot, and he has also encountered a big grey animal.
Well, welcome. Welcome to the...
Cool?
Yeah, as I pulled out to you and you turn around,
Right, well, it seems as though that Steph has lost signal. As you can imagine, there's a bit of difficulty with bringing you a live bushwalk straight from the center of the African bushveld. But that gives me the perfect opportunity to tell you about the story of what I saw in this exact spot first thing this morning. This morning, I was actually following two lionesses with big swinging bellies and faces full of blood. And I followed them for ages because I was just convinced that they had come from some kind of kill. And after some rather dramatic and almost heroic, if I do say so myself, off-roading, we encountered one of the most incredible sightings I have seen in all my time working in the Sabi sand. What happened was the vegetation around us just exploded into these crackles and cackles and eerie howls of hyenas charging forward as they chased away the two lionesses that were coming back to enjoy a bit more of their breakfast, and they turned on their tail and sprinted away, and about 10, I would say, spotted hyenas crowded around the carcass and cackled out their victory. It was absolutely phenomenal, but it's not over yet, because those lionesses did not go far away from where we are at all, and there's still a chance that they might decide, now that they've managed to recruit an extra lioness into their midst, to come back and reclaim their prize. There's not much left, though, for them. There's just a little bit of head and a bit of skin, and it's been largely devoured. It also gives me the most incredible opportunity to introduce you to our hyena clan of Djuma. characters that we have come to know and love over the many months and years that we have been interacting with them. And let me tell you something, despite their reputation, and perhaps the story I just told you doesn't serve to enhance it, these are my absolute, hands-down, favorite predator. They are absolutely phenomenal. There is an intelligence to looking into a hyena's big brown eyes that you probably will find difficult to match anywhere else in the animal kingdom. We've heard them described as malignant and malicious and thieves and dirty scavengers and ugly. I hope that by the end of this afternoon safari at least we will be able to change your mind as to exactly what a hyena is really made of. While our spotted predator munches down on whatever's left of the buffalo and crunches the bones away, let's head back across to Brent and find out what these leopards are doing, because this is a situation I have never seen in my entire life.
She's still calling incessantly for the cub. And the young male is still getting confused and answering her. But we did listen to that. Her calls are getting louder and louder, more distressed and more distressed. Remember, we are live. You are witnessing this incredible behavior at the exact same time as we are. Now, we're going to stick with her. Can't see the young male, but he's probably going to keep following her. So we're going to stick with her. And remember, any questions you want to ask, anything you'd like to know about leopards or what's happening in this exact moment, anything I might have not explained properly, you can ask me again, and you can do that by using the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter. He was sleeping over there, just want to double check where he is while we stick with her. We follow these animals incredibly closely, and Scott, hi Scott, welcome on the vehicle, is wondering at what point, if I was to get out of the vehicle, at what point would it become dangerous? 99.99% of the time, Scott the leopard would run away. But you never know. The only time it would be dangerous if the leopard felt cornered or threatened. So, for example, if I jumped out of her when she had a clip to her back and I put myself between her and her only escape route, that would be when it's dangerous. Now, I'm really hoping the little cub is still alive and she's going to find it while we follow her. Yeah, we're just going to keep going through here slowly. So isn't this incredible? This is live, and we are following a female leopard, and we're about to go into a break, so stay with us after the break to see what happens. So much excitement happening here. Now, I'm a bit worried about this cub, to be honest. I haven't heard any responses. The only responses I've heard are from Sindile. She keeps coming to this area around these two big termite mounds and calling, and her calling is getting louder and louder. So I'm just trying to figure out where's the best way to go through and around. Now, where was he? He was sleeping over here somewhere. Do you still see it? Oh, there he is. Okay, if we go, where that bendy marula is.
Okay.
And to the right slightly.
Ah, see, okay, cool.
There he is. We're gonna stick with shadow for now. You still have visual, Ben? Oh, there's a termite mound in the way now. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now, if she has lost this cub, she's going to come into estrus again. He'll be mating in a matter of weeks. And we can still hear Sindila responding to her. Is he on the move again?
Yes, it's up.
Isn't this amazing? I mean, this is really behavior we never see. I've never seen anything like this in all my years in the bush. Where did she disappear to? Oh, jeez. Let's try and see where's the best spot going to be. She's moving back towards him at the moment. It's just got to be on the game drive radio for a brief second. Looks like she's going to lie down again. Okay, it seems like there's a bit of a stalemate at the moment. They're lying down. While we do that, let's go back to James in the tent.
Whoo-wee. What a time of it they're having over there. I, unlike my friend Brent Leo Smith, am rather more hopeful that he has not killed the cub. I'm still sounding a bit soft. Can you hear now? Better? Better? Davey, have you got levels?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Jamie's got a leopard at the hyena kill. Karula. Oh my goodness, everybody. Here we go. No, it's not Karula. It's a male, I think. It's unbelievable, everybody. Here we go, back to TV. Welcome back everybody. This is a leopard skull. You are live from the middle of the iconic Kruger National Park. Hashtag Safari Live. Ask us questions. Send us shout outs for your Father's Day requests. Tomorrow we'll call them out, same time, same place. Enough of me. We've got leopards all over the place. Back to Jamie this time with a leopard.
I don't believe this. This is absolutely incredible. It just goes to show that a live safari, you just never know what to expect. And the elephants are coming. So I'm going to keep my voice down a bit, try and master the excitement. This is so incredible. While we were sitting watching the hyena, this leopard just sprang out of nowhere and came and started feasting on the buffalo. So the hyenas chased the lions away, and the leopard has just chased the hyenas away. I don't believe this is absolutely... Nature never fails to provide, and the African bush is just one of the most spectacular experiences. There's just so many phenomenal mysteries out here. This is a male leopard. And a very warm welcome to Roan and to Eva, who are Drew's daughters at Nat Geo Wild. You want to know, how often will a leopard eat? Well, the answer to that is it depends on how big the food is that they eat, but it's usually around between 3 to 4 days, depending on their hunting success. Now, that is the general time period. Now, I know that the view of this leopard is obscured. He's clearly very hungry because he's come to scavenge from this carcass. Now, it's not unheard of for leopards to scavenge. In fact, it's more common than we might expect. But this, I have to say, was totally unexpected. It really was. Now, I don't know which leopard this is. It is a male leopard. Now, we know each and every single leopard in this area. I suspect that it is a leopard called Mvula, with a fascinating story, but I want to just be very careful before I reposition the vehicle. Let me explain this to you. Some of our leopards, most of the Sabi sand leopards, are incredibly used to vehicles. They've grown up from tiny, tiny babies with vehicles around them. Now, we do have one male leopard in this area that we don't think has ever seen vehicles before in his life, and we've only just recently started getting him used to the idea of people in safari vehicles. So I want to make sure that I can work out exactly which leopard this is before I risk starting the vehicle and scaring him off. But I think with those incredible incandescent eyes, I have a suspicion that it is a male leopard called Mvula. Now, if indeed this is Mvula, let me try and move nice and slowly. If indeed this is Mvula, he used to be the dominant male leopard, the top spotted cat in this area. He mated with Karula, Shadow's mother, the female leopard that you saw with Brent, and he's mated with many other females and kept control of this area. And it's only in the last few months, while we have been watching the dynamics of our leopards change, that he's actually started to be pushed out of his territorial area and pushed into other areas. So he's basically become what's known as a dispersal male, meaning he runs and he stays away from any other dominant male leopard. And he's looking very nervous. The hyena's coming back. I thought that might happen. Let's just listen to the growls. There he goes. All right, guys, that's absolutely incredible. We're going to try and stay with our male leopard. The hyenas have come back. It's the females. They're much bigger than the cubs. That's why I've started up my vehicle. He might not go too far. I hope he doesn't. Just let my engine run for the moment. Get everything in the area used to the idea that I am going to move, particularly the elephants. How incredible is that? A leopard steals from the hyenas steal back from the leopard. This is just phenomenal. It's almost like they went and searched for help. We've now got 4, maybe 5 hyenas coming to join us. And that's exactly what happened. That hyena that got chased off by the leopard went to look for help. And it found help in the form of these much larger females from the hyena clan. I am so thrilled that you get to experience this incredible example of predator hierarchy on your live safari. It just doesn't get better than this. I'm so excited. I still can't believe that just happened. It's absolutely phenomenal. And to top it all off, as we start to move out, I do want to see if we can't stay with that leopard, although I think he's going to keep running. Let's see if we can't get around towards him. But to top it all off, as we start to move out, we might even see the vultures that have started to gather in the hope of a scrap. Wow, absolutely incredible. That individual is called Pretty. Now we've learned to recognize each of our individual hyenas. That is Pretty that just came in, and she's followed by a hyena known as Madam. Madam is the matriarch, the head of this clan, and those two females are amongst the highest ranking in this hyena clan, and when it comes to getting business done, they are the individuals that will do it. And they're going to go and search. There he is, he's still here. And the hyenas are going for him. There he goes. He's terribly disappointed, bitterly disappointed. Guys, the hyenas are still going to be here. They're not going to go far. But that leopard may well not be, and I desperately want to figure out who it is. So let's go and search for him. We'll leave our hyenas to their meal and see if we can't catch up with them. So while we continue our search, let's head across back to James in the tent.
Well, I'm out of the tent now, everybody, with my leopard skull, aka pen holder. Unbelievable stuff. We just don't know where to look. Leopards falling out of trees, crawling out from under every bush and scavenging every carcass in the bush. While they're lying down a bit and taking a bit of a break, I'll show you just a quick look as to where they are. Now, the first leopard you saw here today was Shadow. She lives ostensibly over here on a reserve called Arathusa, and that's basically her territory. It goes all the way up there. Actually, I'm a little bit too far south, and goes up into Juma like that. That's Juma over there, and down like that. That's Shadow, right? Shadow, female leopard. That's a cat, everybody. Now, her mother, Karula, the wonderful queen of Juma, who provides the bulk of our leopard viewing, astoundingly not today, that's about her territory there. So she's got a bigger territory. That's Karula, the queen. We'll give her a little crown. And then, of course, we have Tingana, the dominant male leopard, and his territory, we'll give him in green, is about this size. He goes all the way around here. He encompasses another territory down there of another 2 female leopards, and he's back this way. You can't really see the green, but there you get the idea of where we are. That's a hopeless pen. We'll toss that away. Now we'll take the black pen. And Mvula used to live in this area, in the northeast corner. He had a lovely territory there. Now he's got a bit old. He's probably about 13 years old. That territory is no longer his. Tingana, the big male leopard, has taken it over. Now, other females you're likely to see, better introduce you to them now, given that we're seeing leopards around every bush. There's Tundi, who makes her area down here. That's Shadow's sister. She is 9 years old. That's Tundi, female. Also Princess, sister to Shadow. Both daughters, of course, to Karula, and one other down here in Cheetah Plains called Inkanieni, who is unrelated. Not surprisingly, they're quite far away. Let's head back to Brent. He's still with Shadow and Sindile.
So she's on the move again, still searching desperately for that cub. And that cub could be hidden anywhere here. I'm really hoping it survived the visit from his older brother, or her older brother. But it is unlikely. She's zigzagging through these thickets. And remember, we're on a live African safari. And aren't we spoiled on this Saturday? Not 1, but 3 leopards, the most elusive of big cats. Jim, welcome on this live safari. Great to have you on the back of the vehicle with us. Jim is wondering, why can't she just smell the cub? Jim, you probably find... Oh, here we go. We've got both of them again. And she's desperate to keep that young male away from this area where she is now. He's just on the other side of that bush. He's just through there. Okay, you might hear a few other vehicles around us. We are in an area where there are safari lodges that take people from all over the world on safari, and we all share these sightings. And look at that, he's on top of the termite mound. taking a bit of high ground. Mom's still not happy. Can hear her growling. Sorry, Jim. So the cub's probably been around here. So it'll be lots of its scent. And how leopards normally communicate when they get into an area, she'll do those calls, and they're getting louder. And those calls normally would make the cub run out to come greet her. But the cub might have been chased or even killed by that young male. That's why it hasn't appeared yet. See, now she's definitely putting her body between him and this area where we're sitting at the moment. Did he lie down on top of the termite mound? I can't see anymore. Right in the sun. So, believe it or not, that massive thing there is made by termites. They are farmers. They grow fungus under the ground in those massive mounds. Oh, there he is. Look, there he is. You can just see his ears silhouetted against the skyline there. Shame, he must be so confused. Now, just a quick recap on why he's got that satellite collar on him and what's going on now. So, when he was just over a year old, he unfortunately caught a domestic dog that came in from nearby villages, and that domestic dog tested positive for rabies. Now, rabies is, of course, a really incredibly dangerous disease, and it can affect all the wild animals out here. So he was darted, put into quarantine, and put on a bunch of medication, and he was in quarantine for 7 months. And he was then released back here. He went wandering many kilometers before coming back into his natal home range. His natal home range is his mom's territory. And in the time he's been gone, his mom has had another set of babies. Look at that. You can see how great and leopard's camouflage is there. Now, if he came across those babies, he would kill them. It's an instinctive response. But he keeps calling to his mom because he would expect her to still react to him. This ties in wonderfully with Heidi. Heidi is asking, at what age do young male leopards leave their mothers? Heidi, it's very dependent. It's normally at about 2 to 2.5 years old. So he would normally be leaving her at about this age. Sometimes they can leave at as young as a year, but that's really, really unusual. But normally 2 to 2.5 years. And so theoretically, he could still be hanging with his mum. And there is some discrepancy about who his dad could be. It's very difficult. These female leopards mate with lots of different males. But speaking of male leopards, and definitely a leopard who could definitely possibly be his father, let's go see that magnificent boy with Jamie.
And back to our amazing male leopard. Just a quick reminder that my name is Jamie, and if you needed a reminder that we are live, well, I think that my astonishment that as to what has just transpired may well just serve that exact purpose. Now, this is most definitely Mvula, our much beloved male leopard, a leopard that stole the hearts and the minds of viewers of the Safari Live journey for many, many years. And to see him now is such an incredible privilege because he's become, as I said, completely nomadic. So to see him back in his old territory, in his old haunt, and looking good, I have to say. A little bit thin, a little bit hungry, but no more so than any leopard gets every now and again. Clearly hungry enough that he wanted to scavenge. I just have to say a very warm welcome to Hale, who is joining us on this action-packed live safari. Hale wants to know why male leopards prefer solitude. Well, funny enough, Hale, it's not just male leopards. It's actually all leopards. The only exceptions to that rule is when a leopardess has cubs, as with what you're seeing with Sindile Shadow and her very small cub, although I have to tell you that that situation is completely unusual in what is sort of happening there, obviously, as you've worked out from the storyline of that. The only other time that you'll see leopards in the company of other leopards is usually when they're mating. Now, the way that leopard territories work is that the females have slightly smaller territories than the male, and the male's territory overlaps all of those, so it kind of encompasses several different female territories. So what that means is every now and again, a male leopard, like Mvula, might encounter females, but generally when you see the leopards encounter each other, they kind of, even when they're mating, to be completely honest, even when they're forced into each other's company by biology, they seem a little bit disgruntled with the situation, like they cannot believe that they've been forced together. Leopards just prefer solitude. They like it to be subtle and they like it to be hidden. I'm going to keep whispering because he is actually nice and close to the vehicle, which is absolutely magical. While he hides out in what is known as a black monkey orange thicket, this dense vegetation, Steph has found another favorite resting place of some of our leopard characters.
I cannot believe how lucky you have been with all the leopards falling out from everywhere. Finally, you've come to the part of the show where I can say hello to you. I'm Steph van Winterboer, and this is the bushwalk part of Safari Live. We're on foot. We're in the middle of the same bush that you've been driving around in with Brent and Jamie. Got nothing else around us except for the bush and this massive termite mound that you see me on. It's really quite high. We were chased up here by some buffalo. The buffalo have since moved on, but we've still stayed up here. But I must be honest with you that because we came to this termite mound, because the buffalo are in the area and herded us sort of onto this high point, we found the most amazing thing. I have been looking for one of these literally for the entire 20 years of my guiding career. It was uncovered by an ant bear, and it's right inside this hole. Come and have a look at it. There it is right there, and although it doesn't look like much, I'm gonna dig it out with my stick so that we can see a little bit more of it. There we go. That is a pottery jar, and termite mounds like this were used by the first African people to inhabit this area as a bank. They would store their valuables in a clay pot like this, dig open the termite mound, put their valuables in the pot, in the termite mound, and the termites would actually cover this up, and only they would know exactly where that is. And this, we're so lucky, this has been uncovered by an ant bear and allowed us to see inside here. Now, to give you some reference as to how exciting this is for me, this pot predates the stores or the supply stores that came into this area. Supply stores came into this area in about 1840 to about 1820. So this would be before that. And I have a piece of pottery that is on top of the shelf in James's tent that just dated at 800 years. Can you imagine? This, we've just uncovered an ancient bank vault that could be 800 years old. How awesome is that? I'm actually seeing if I can wet it a little bit so that we can show you a little bit more of what's in it. While I'm doing that to you, I'm actually listening to the buffalo that are behind us. Can you believe it? Still coming through the bush. We've got to be so careful out here. It's actually too easy to get my head stuck onto a... There we go. It's uncovered. This pot, you can see, has even been scratched a little bit in a pattern. That to me is just so awesome. An 800-year-old bank vault inside this termite mound, middle of the African bush. How awesome is that? But we're going to move back to those leopards. They're way too exciting to be gone from them for a little bit longer. You're going over to Jamie.
This day just keeps getting better. The leopards being wildlife and us filming live wildlife. Oh, Mvula, you're about to fall out of the tree, boy. And true to cat and his particularly leopard form, he's decided to escape the circling hyenas by making his way up the only tree that he saw as a viable option. Unfortunately for him, it's not really what I would call the most comfortable of options. Look at him, peering across to where the hyenas were last. He looks like he might fall out of the tree. Now, leopards are incomparably graceful, incredibly well coordinated, and phenomenally powerful cats, but they fall down. They most definitely do fall down, just like your pet cats do at home, every now and again when they roll over, misjudge, and then fall over and get embarrassed. And hello to Max. Max, welcome on this incredible safari. Max, I hope you've got your safari hat and your binoculars ready. Now, Max is 5 years old and would like to know how leopards are different from cheetah. Well, Max, the biggest difference is actually, if Mvula would be so kind as to turn his head. Yes? Thank you, boy. If you have a look at his face, Max, see how he's just got spots around his face, around his cheek? Now, a cheetah has a black stripe all the way from the corner of his eye right down to the corner of its mouth. Now, cheetah are long and skinny and built for speed. A leopard is slightly shorter, but much, much bulkier and stronger, kind of like a weightlifter in terms of their build. And leopards really are the most phenomenal weightlifters. A male leopard of Mvula's size, he probably weighs in close to at least 170 pounds. And male leopards have been recorded basically dragging 120% of their body weight or their body mass up into trees. Just picture doing that. Imagine something your body weight. Now imagine pulling it up a tree with only your fingernails and your teeth. And that is how strong a leopard really is. Hello, boy. Mvula, I have to tell you, has the most incredible eyes. Okay, he's coming right up to the vehicle, so we're going to be nice and quiet. He's going to walk right behind Brian. That is absolute magic, right next to the vehicle. He almost could have rubbed his cheek on it as he went past, and it just goes to show you how comfortable our magical animals are with the vehicle and how little impact we have on their day-to-day lives. Where are you going, Mvula? What's your plan next? I don't believe this. He's chasing the hyena. Sorry, everybody, hold on tight. Where's he going? What is he going to do next? This is just too incredible for words. Sorry, we gotta change position. Might get a bit noisy. This is a very, very difficult block to drive through, but we're gonna do it. Now, just to let you know, in terms of the trees that we are driving over, we pick the ones specifically, and we are trained to do so. Let me just let this hyena come past. I don't want to scare it or impact it in any way. All right. Now, we do pick the trees that we know from our knowledge of the different tree species spring back up, and we pick the young saplings that are nice and flexible. So when we move through this area, apart from nearly stabbing poor Brian in the back there, we aren't doing any environmental damage. But while we do it, because it's a little bit tricky and I need to concentrate, back across to James on quarantine.
By quarantine, she doesn't mean I have a disease, of course. That's the clearings in which we're standing. We're in the middle of the bush in my wonderful office here. This is a piece of pottery similar to the one that Steph had. I'm just going to quickly flip it over for you like that. And it was also probably used as a bank in a termite mound. I don't know if it's as old as 800 years, but it's certainly pretty old. And just an unbelievable find that Steph had there. Now, over here is my good friend Johnny the giraffe. His name changes on a frequent basis. He is dead, as you can see. In fact, he is long dead, and he was probably killed by lions or hyenas. But everything out here is a food source or a home for something else. Now, have a look closer down here. You can see on the edge there a little sort of waxy knoll, if you like, lit by my little lamp. There it is. Now, what we're going to do is take this microscope And we're going to pop it over the top of this waxy knoll, and I'm going to show you what actually lives here. It's unbelievable. Now, we're going to go across the microscope view now, and there, everybody, is the entrance hole for a stingless bee's nest. And we've just had the bees coming out, and I wonder if they'll come out again. There we are. There they are. See the little bee just laying on more wax? And they're living inside the brain case of Johnny the giraffe. Look at the mouth parts going, putting the wax in the right place, using the legs, using the incredibly skillful mouth parts, and even the antenna. There are 2 of them there. So there'll be a colony of probably up to, 50 or 60 underneath here, living in the brain case of Johnny the giraffe, and they'll be making a very sweet honey. Well, it's a kind of watery sweet honey, very much prized by local people, but normally these bees live in trees. They don't normally live in the skulls of long dead giraffe. But, as you can see, Johnny, although he had to sacrifice his life to some of the predators of this area, all is not lost. His contribution to the unbelievable ecology of this area continues. Spectacular stuff. Now, there are leopards all over the place. I think we'll go back to the old girl, 9 years old, Shadow.
Now, we're still with these leopards. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, the other thing is, look, yeah, VM spotted it as well. The smallest carnivore in Africa, the dwarf mongoose, is hiding from the leopard. Now, if a leopard saw one, it would chase it. They're tiny. They're a couple of inches long. A gregarious mongoose species. And we can hear the leopard calling in the background, so let's leave the little mongoose. Aren't they sweet? And go across to the leopard again. Where's she gone? There she is. She's desperately calling for the cub, a tiny little cub, about 3 months old. But there's a young male here, her son from her last litter. She's calling louder and louder, getting more and more desperate. Normally she'd use that soft little ow she's doing now. But she's using a much louder call because she's not getting a response. That was almost a full roar. Look how close she is to us. Isn't this amazing? You're on a live African safari and we have a female leopard mere 4 feet from the front of the car. She keeps coming back to this area where we are now, searching for the cub. And I'm really starting to get worried that that young male might have managed to catch that cub. Look at that golden African light on a live African safari for the Father's Day weekend. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else but right here. Keeping searching. She's actually heading back to where that young male was. Okay, let's have a look. But while we keep following the story, let's go back to Jamie with the other leopard and hyena.
This is the most incredible sighting. I'm so glad that we could share it with you live. Mvula is still here. We returned back to the side of the carcass because I couldn't find him in the dense vegetation. And all of a sudden, he snuck up right behind me. Now, I'm going to have to reposition to show you exactly what I mean. Oh, hold on. I think Brian can get a shot from where he is. Hello, boy. And off he goes. I thought he was going to challenge the hyenas once again. He's hungry enough to do so. He's got a little bit of a flap to his belly. And on this really special Father's Day, for you to have met one of the most famous leopard dads, probably in the world, if I have to be completely honest, well, it doesn't get more perfect than that. And to watch this live, if you think that this is a sighting that we just get every day, I have to tell you something. I have never ever seen a leopard steal from a hyena like that before and then get pushed out again. And he's still slinking about the outskirts, making his way closer and closer. Here he goes. Vula, courageous and dominating, even now that he is no longer thought to be the dominant male leopard. And very good afternoon to Jessica, who was wondering what is the biggest animal that we've ever seen a leopard pull up into a tree on drive. Now, for our live drives, probably some of the biggest have been animals or antelope species like kudu. And hold that thought, I just want to go back a little bit in case he's still here. But I have heard, while we try and find our leopard, I'll stay here for now, but I am going to go search for him. I have heard of a male called the Anderson male who lives just a few miles to the west of us. I've heard of him hoisting baby giraffe up into trees. From talking of the largest things down to one of the smallest things, let's find out what scaly creature Steph has found.
Now, one of my most favorite things, everybody, is lifting up stumps and having a look at what lives underneath. You're back on the bushwalk with myself, Steph, and we have been walking around in the bush over here looking for just such a surprise. Right at the end of my stick is a snake. Have a look at this. It's a centipede eater. And it's going underground at the moment. See if I can, oh, just lost it. But the good thing is that there's also a scorpion here. And it's one of the nasties. Have a look at this. There we go. That is an olive thick-tailed scorpion. And let me tell you, if you get stung by one of them, that'll be the end of my show. Let's come this side. Here we go. Here it is right here. We just got to get Gendre through the bush. Here it is right here at the end of my stick. Now you don't want to get too close to these little guys because that tail there packs a big wallop. It feels like taking a piece of hot steel and putting it out in your finger. That's how sore it is. I once had one in my shirt and it stung me on the back when I was putting my shirt on. Kept me bouncing around for quite some time. Now obviously, there's a good way of knowing which scorpions you can toy with and which scorpions you can't. You have a look at the pincers. You can see that these pincers are relatively frail and thin looking. Have a look at that. When you compare the pincers to the thickness of the tail, you can see that this scorpion absolutely relies on catching prey with its pincers. Careful your knee. Yeah, don't worry. And back on the cover there. And that, everybody, olive thick-tailed scorpion. Yay! All right, time for an update. And you're going over to Brent. Jamie, excuse me. You're going over to Jamie.
Oh, everybody, have a quick look at this. What do you think that is? Floating in the middle of a jar. We're about to go back to a break, everyone, so I'm just going to quickly reveal it to you. It is one of those scorpions that Steph was looking at, but a much thinner-tailed one. Come back to see the great leopards of this place, the unbelievable hyenas, and the stuff on the floor. We'll see you in just a little while. Right, everyone on the internet, I hope you're enjoying this. Good grief. I suppose people must be wondering what's going on around my neck. Well, this is a black mamba skin that I thought I would amusingly place here. But so much excitement going on out here. We've still got all the leopards. I, of course, can see exactly what's going on everywhere here. Jamie and Brent and Steph Now, it doesn't seem to be that all the leopards are running around at the moment, which is fantastic. Well, it's not so fantastic. Why don't we have a quick look at the rover? And what we'll do is cut across to the Djuma Dam Cam first. I think if we can, we'll just move in there. No, we won't. We'll stay on me. Okay, we'll stay on me. And let's see what else we have underneath the microscope here. And there is the microscope. And is everyone. We did a little quiz yesterday when we were in our rehearsal. Can you turn me up a bit? Sorry, I believe my audio is quite soft. I think it's probably because... There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, maybe it's because I've got this black mamba skin over me. Anyway, that is the claw, everyone, of a lion. And I think that's rather remarkable. Now, I just want to ask Kirsten if we're ready to do a little rover test, are we? Okay, we're going to go to the rover when we go to TV. Anyway, that's the case of, or that's the microscope look at a lion's claw. How is that? How's my audio now? Right, I think it was definitely the black mamba skin that seemed to have been causing a bit of a problem around my neck. Right, out of microscope now. You can see I've undone my black mamba scarf, and here is the incredible lion's claw. Isn't that fantastic? So it's about the size of my thumb. Unbelievable. Now I want to also show you a snake, or the snake's eye. Now Steph had that unbelievable snake. He of course has an eye second to no one in the bush. And now we have a vine snake in this jar, gently floating in formalin. Not very delicious of course, but there is its face. And what I'm going to try and do now is get you a view of its eye with the microscope. I just think this sort of technology is so fantastic. We're able to get these really incredible close-up views. Now, let me just try and focus before you go across. There you are. Have a look at this. Or not. There we are. Isn't that spectacular? That is the eye of a vine snake, everyone. And I know it's a bit grim watching bits of it floating by, but I just find it absolutely astounding. Now, we're going 1 minute to TV, everyone, so I'm going to take this down, and then I'm going to explain to the TV that we have the rover, and that we have, of course, the Djuma Dam Cam. So much of technology. Okay, here we go. I'm going to be silent now, everyone. You haven't lost the feed. Keep watching, and like I said, it's wonderful to have you with us. It does feel like we've got a whole lot of our regulars patting us on the back and egging us on, and it's just a great encouragement. And clearly the animals of this area decided that your encouragement was well worth it. They've all come out in force, en masse. Right, 20 seconds to go. Here we go, everyone. The rover is about to make its world premiere. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you're enjoying this astonishing Father's Day weekend special. Hashtag Safari Live if you want to talk to us, ask us questions, send us comments. We are live from the middle of the Kruger National Park, an iconic national park on the northeast corner of magnificent South Africa. We've got Brent out with leopards, we've got Jamie out with leopards and hyena, and Steph scouring the bush for scorpions and snakes and all sorts of things. And from my office tent here in the middle of a wonderful clearing, we've got some incredible technology. We've got this microscope which we use to tell you. Now we're going to cut across to the waterhole camera there. There you can see the waterhole camera without an animal in it, but Ronald the rover is sitting there next to the water, and we're now going to cut to his view of things. There he is. I will now drive him slowly forward and attempt not to give him a swim, because Ronald doesn't like swimming. He ain't so good in the water. Now, we just before you, well, I mean, we did have some buffalo earlier on, but you had all that leopard action, so we didn't come and have a look. But just have a look at what Ronald can do, and it does give us the most amazing view of the world. And when the buffalo come up and sniff at him and the zebra do the same, it is just so very special. This is a water hole, of course, one of the last remaining bits of water, and it is pumped from the other side, from what you would call in the States a bore, no, what we would call a borehole, and I think you would call a well. There's a pump there that fills this pan, and the pan, of course, is feeding beautiful animals that come down to drink during the dry season. We are in the sort of throes of a fairly substantial drought at the moment. So that waterhole, as the dry season continues, is going to become more and more important for the incredible animals of this wilderness. Let's head back across to that lovely male leopard, my favorite, Sindile.
Welcome back. Shadow is still walking around, calling around us, but it just was such a beautiful shot of young Sindile sitting on top of that big termite mound. Beautiful chloris grass in front of his face. Lovely late afternoon African light coming through. Remember, you're with us on a live African safari, and if you want to ask us any questions, use the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter. And remember, tomorrow is Father's Day. If you want to send a shout out to your dad on Nat Geo Wild, remember to get those things through on hashtag #SafariLive. Okay, so we're going to try to catch up with that female again. She seems to be moving through there. I'm really hoping we don't find her finding her latest cub's carcass, but that is a possibility. Hi, Adala. Welcome on the back of the safari vehicle. Adala is saying how awesome it must be to hear this meow of a large leopard. Strangely enough, Adala, a meow is one of the only sounds leopard can't make. They've got a very different type of bone in their neck compared to a domestic cat. So a domestic cat has a solid hyoid bone, and that's where they create their vocalizations, and they go meow. But a leopard has an elastic cartilaginous hyoid bone that vibrates, and that's how they're able to get that deep, deep, deep noise we're hearing. Now, if you had to describe the way a leopard calls, it's almost like someone sawing wood. And when they do a full roar, it's sort of I'm just trying to turn around. There's some big stumps that might give us a flat tire. Of course, we do change a few tires following these animals through the bush. Okay, there we go. It looks like we managed to get out of that tricky spot. I just want to see where that female's going, but while we go have a look, I'm just going to go around behind the young male. Remember, there are other people out here. Whoopsie, watch out, Vim. I've never lost a cameraman yet. Come close a few times. Might get a really cool little sneak peek of that young male from the back of this termite area. And there you can see the shadow of our vehicle as we sneak around. There we go. There he is, still lying there. She's come back actually, but we'll look at him first. And there we go. You can see that satellite collar there, as I was explaining earlier. He unfortunately caught a rabid dog and had to go away into quarantine. Now, very unusual behavior we're seeing here. That's because he's come back after being gone for so many months, and she's already had other cubs, so he's probably quite confused. He thinks she's calling for him, so he keeps answering, but she keeps attacking him, growling at him, chasing him away, because she's actually calling for the next generation. another cub, but there is a strong possibility that that cub could have been killed by this young male. It is all very complex out here in the African bush, so especially, oh, listen to her, she's still calling. Now we've got a really interesting question from Tony, and especially with all the vocalization we're hearing at the moment, it's really relevant. Tony would like to know, do leopards ever make warning calls for their cubs to hide? They do, Tony. Normally they'll growl at something that's threatening the cubs, and that will sort of be cue for the cubs to make a disappearing act. But leopards often are forced to leave their cubs alone for many hours at a time while they go hunting. And that's when those cubs normally get killed. So she will leave them in what's a sort of safe place. At this age, the cubs can climb. But when something like that is going after them, he can climb as well. So a really, really difficult situation for this female leopard. And I really feel for her. And I'm really hoping that cub survived. But while we see what plays on here, let's go back to Steph, who's marching through the African bush.
We've found for you a giant skewer. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm Steph Winterboer and we are on foot in the middle of the African bush right here at Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Kruger National Park. And like I said, this is a giant size elephant skewer. Have a look at this. And how do I know that? I know that because of all these marks. This is where the elephant's teeth rubbed off the bark. Have a look at that. And he did this in a circular motion. And I'm going to show it to you now, give you an idea of how strong these animals actually are. They put it in their mouth, turned it around, and it came out the other side, just like this. As funny as that looks. And they got to the end. When he got to the end, he just dropped it. And then he carried on for more. This is the tree that he got it from. It's a combretum. Literally just bent it over, broke it, and then put it in their mouth. And can you imagine an elephant as big as what it is gets its sustenance from just that little piece of bark right there? That's where the tree's goodies sit. It's where a lot of water and moisture sit. It's also where a lot of sugars and other nutrients lie. The wood of the tree is literally just to get it up into the sky so that it can get some sunlight. The actual good bits, pieces that the elephant are after, are just this little piece. I'm trying to find a place where I can show you how big an elephant's tooth actually is, and I think this is it. That is as big as an elephant's tooth. You can see my hand there. I don't have the world's biggest hands, but this was 1 molar in their mouth. Now they get molars just like we do. They've just only got 4, 1 on each side, and then 1 at the bottom on each side. And they get compressed from the back forward against their tusks when they get old. And we always know when an elephant's at its oldest, when they get to their last set of teeth. They get 6, we only get 2. But on that note, before I take a bite of this juicy morsel, Jamie's got a vulture that might fly away before you go back to her. You're going back to her. Enjoy.
Luckily for us, our vulture's not planning on flying anywhere, but another one of our much maligned but actually much misunderstood scavengers. On your live safari, my name is Jamie, and you're on the back of the vehicle at the best possible time, because as you can see, the afternoon light is starting to set in as the sun sets, and we've just managed to make our way out from the middle of that really thick, dense vegetation and back out onto a road. When you last left us, we were with Mvula, that male leopard. We're now right in the center of Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Sabi Sand in the greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa, an area that is famed for its incredible wildlife spectacles, but we really did get absolutely some of the best that Africa really truly has to offer this afternoon. I haven't given up on Mvula just yet. We're going to go for a quick loop around where he disappeared and see if we can't see him where he pops out. So buckle up, or not necessarily, but hold on to your hats, and we're going to go search for him. And while we do, over to James with an 8-legged friend for you.
You know when you're having a little rest in the afternoon and you feel something tickling your nose? Well, I'm getting that feeling as we speak. The spider, as terrifying as it may seem to many of you, is a tarantula, the African version thereof, and it's actually known as a baboon spider, and the reason I have it on my nose is, of course, that it is dead. And we think it was dead, or deaded, killed, by a wasp. Now, what wasps do, it might not actually be dead, but just paralyzed. They'll sting them, these spider-hunting wasps, sting them on the abdomen like that, and lay their eggs inside. And while the spider is paralyzed and buried in a hole by the wasp larvae, which is basically a sort of grub or worm, will hatch and eat the spider from within and then go out and do the same to another spider. Not very nice if you happen to be the spider. Now, something equally terrifying is the sight of a spider's fangs. Look at this under the microscope, everyone. There are the spider's fangs. Those shiny black things there are the fangs of the spider. You can see them surrounded by very nerve-sensitive hairs, and that helps the spider to know where to bite. Now, they're totally harmless to human beings, most of them. You do get various species of baboon spider, some of which aren't very harmless at all. This one is. But if you were a grasshopper or something like that wanders past the baboon spider's burrow, well, then you're going to be in some sort of trouble. Now, I'm going to move him backwards, and I'll show you the spinnerets on the end there. I'll just refocus quickly. Oops, there we are. Now, if you wondered at where a spider spins its web from, it's from there. You can see in the middle of the picture there, I'm just going to try and slightly change the focus the other way. There, those two things in the middle of your screen that are the most sharp to the light, those are the spinnerets, and it is from there that the spider produces silk. Now, this particular spider digs a hole. It doesn't, in fact, dig a web, but at least spin a web, but all spiders are able to produce silk, and it will wrap up its silk, or wrap up its prey in the silk from those spinnerets. So that's the baboon spider. Mighty magnificent creature, I think it is. Let's head back to Brent and a full frame shot of the best pelt in Africa.
Now here's a little bit of leopard print with a difference. Isn't that incredible? She's so close. We can get that incredible shot of her rosettes. Definitely a bit different to some of the leopard print you see moving around in the US of A. So she's rested now. She's probably about 70 feet from where the young male is on top of that termite mound. She's still calling dramatically for the missing cub. I'm really, really hoping that cub is okay. Yeah, she is a beautiful female. About 11 years old. You can see that beautiful, beautiful face, those long white whiskers. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Oh, and she's up and she's off. And she goes, she's calling again. There she goes, right past us, looking for that cub. And we're about to go into a break shortly. So be sure not to disappear so we can help you understand what's happening with this incredible leopard sighting. Wow, guys, isn't this amazing? And she seems to be slowly creating some distance between herself and Sindile. I'm going to stick with her. But she does keep looping back as well. I've lost sight of her now, Brian. Can you see her? Ah, there she is. Oh, where are we going to get through here? Let's just go around the termite mound. No mulberry bushes to go around out here. See if she takes this chance. Look at her. She's taking this chance to get away from him. She's running. She's timed it perfectly. I wonder if he's going to follow. The other vehicles are still with him. There's the cub. The cub's alive. The cub's alive. Incredible. Absolutely amazing. I'm so happy. The cub survived. This is amazing. I'm just going to try and move forward a tiny bit. This is the first ever sighting of Shadow's cub on Safari Live. And we were so worried about it today that it might be expired, but there it is, 3-month-old leopard cub. I am ecstatic. I'm over the world. I can't even speak. This is just too amazing. I'm at a loss for words. I don't think I can say amazing again, but wow! Sean, just letting Sean know. Sean, she's just called the Mampimpa and it's alive, and she's now heading west into that block on the other side of the road. Affirm. Affirm, what's the vehicle lock at the moment? Does it confirm it's 2? Affirm, Sean, you're more welcome to take standby. Nope. Isn't this absolutely outstanding? I'm just at a loss of words. Keep how she looks like she keeps checking back. Look at that. She keeps looking back to make sure that that young male doesn't follow her. I just can't believe this. Isn't this amazing? Look at that. I've got the most amazing news in the world. The cub has survived. It's right here. I'm going to try and get you a visual of it. She managed to get away from her last cub, and we now have a tiny 3-month-old leopard cub with us. And it is unbelievable. I was really convinced that that cub might have got caught by the young male. There we go. I'm just going to go forward a tiny bit. There it is, there it is, there it is. Look at this. Isn't just the cutest thing you've ever seen? So she's managed to keep that young male away from her baby. Look at that. This is just the most amazing sighting I've had. It's just been leopards everywhere today and absolutely incredible behavior, stuff you never ever see. Wow, isn't this... Sorry guys, we're on a live African safari and we've been watching this female leopard call for her cub for the past hour and a half, and I was starting to really think that that cub might have been killed by the young male who was also there. But no, she's managed to protect it, and now she's moving away as fast as she can from that young male with her cub. Remember, hashtag Safari Live, if you want to ask us any questions about that glorious bundle of fur. Look at it go! Now, this leopard cub's about 3 months old, and the first year of a leopard cub's life is really dangerous. They have a 70% mortality rate. So 7 out of 10 leopards born will die. I'm going to try stick with her, but she is going some very thick stuff. I'm speechless. I'm at a loss for words. I'm just so happy and so excited that that cub has survived. You can see we do get a little bit attached to the animals. We follow them on a daily basis. And it's hard not to, and I know you shouldn't, because it is Africa and it's nature at its most raw, so things get killed quite often, but you can't just help get a little bit attached to the creatures we follow on a daily basis out here on Safari Live. Well, Janet, a big thank you to you too for joining us on the live safari. Janet says, Brent, you made my day for finding the leopard cub. Janet, I can tell you this was a very much a team effort. I was out with the trackers. Johnson sat with the Shadow and Sindile the whole day to make sure we had them for the beginning of the safari. So I can never take credit for all of this. It's just that I have such a fantastic team out here that I work with every day. I'm really lucky to live in the bush, go on live safaris, and have a great group of friends to call my work colleagues. Okay, now I'm not going to follow her for too much longer. It's getting dark and I don't want to disturb, and I want to make sure that this cub has the best chance of survival. It's amazing it survived today, and hopefully it's a good omen for this cub's future. Okay, look at that. Oh, disappearing into these round leaf teak thickets. I'm going to try stick with them for a little bit longer. Okay, I've still got her parallel to me. Oh, sorry, I might have got a bit overexcited there. I'm back to sort of a mild speed, but unfortunately, or fortunately with me, it's never really mild, quite an excitable chat. But what an incredible live safari it's been. My mind is just blown how well the incredible animal characters have decided to play along. So while we try get another view of her disappearing, I'm going to give you one last little squiz, and then I'm going to leave her be so that cub can be safe. She's going to pop through. There she is. We'll see. They might come out into the open in front, and I'm going to let her take that little cub to safety. There it is. Hasn't that been incredible? I'm so ecstatic. Oh, lost for words. Now, we're going to leave something small and furry and go to something else that's small and possibly furry as well with Steph.
Welcome back to the bushwalk, everybody. My name's Steph if you've just joined us, and we've got the hairiest of all hairy caterpillars here for you. Have a look at that guy. Now, you don't want to touch them. These hairs are super irritant, and it's exactly why this worm or this caterpillar is so brightly colored. It's to warn any birds in the area that he is either, or she is either very distasteful or is actually quite dangerous. Now, I know some of these hairs can be so irritant that they'd actually clog up your airways and stop you from breathing. How's that? Sorry about my arm in the way. But look at that. Isn't that the most fantastic creature you've ever seen in your life? Got a big hairy face, some whiskers. And is now creeping deeper into the bush to spend the night a little bit warmer. This time of the year, it's quite chilly at night time, and these little caterpillars need to spend most of their time in deep cover just so that they can stay alive again. Keeps them warm. They come out in the daytime, sit in the sun, some of their leaves. Isn't that amazing? All right, and after that, we're going to send you up to James, who's in the tent just waiting for you.
You know, I'm normally known as the pessimistic one, but I'm so glad that my optimism today paid off, and Brent, who's normally so positive, his didn't pay off, at least today, his pessimism. Fantastic stuff that we've had that little cub. Let's have a quick look here. We're going to take you across to the dam camera. There's the dam camera, everybody, and you can watch this every day. And check this out. We're going to just go and have a look at that full moon. Zoop, zooming in. It's just managed to lose focus completely. Let's go back to the water hole. There we go. There's the moon being looked at by Ronald the rover. Now, Ronald has had a horribly lonely time here today. He's had absolutely no company at all, while the leopards have been knocking about on Arethusa and Juma, of course. And so, unfortunately, he's just had the old bird flying past there. That was a Birchall starling that was going on there. Let's go straight back to the leopard cub.
So as we tried to leave, she popped up right in front of us, and we're at an incredible place where elephants have dug water. So she's brought the cub for a little drink. The elephants have dug water in a hole there, and she's about to go to a cave that's got water in it as well. Look at this, isn't this just amazing? This is a live African safari. We have had the best leopard luck for the most most elusive animal to find. Serengeti Debbie is on drive with us, and Serengeti Debbie would like to know what a mother and cub would do during the night. She might go hunt, and she'll leave the cub hidden in a thicket. Look at that. Isn't this just the most special thing? Okay, so she's got to a little, oh, the cub's gonna fall. He's just got big enough to, oh, here we go, just managed to pull itself up. Oh, that is amazing. Let me just try to sneak forward for one last little view. Liam, I'm not gonna drive off the cliff, am I? I hope not to, but there we go. We're gonna watch her disappear into this little river system. Oh, sorry. She's hiding behind the leaves, but she's going to find a nice place to hide that cub now, and we're going to leave her be here. And she's given us just the most incredible live safari today. There's no words to describe seeing a little cub like that, and to see the incredible behavior you've seen between Jamie and Steph on the walk, and it's just been too much. Speaking of Jamie, before I trip over my words. Let's go see what she's up to with the hyenas.
I know exactly what it is that Brent is feeling in terms of tripping over his own words. It's just been the most incredible afternoon and so special. We could not, well, the animals couldn't have planned it better on this very special Father's Day weekend. Now, don't forget to send through your shout-outs for tomorrow's show, same time, same place, a live safari here on Djuma, Arathusa and Cheetah Plains Game Reserves. I'm whispering once again, really, really quietly, because to end off our incredible safari experience after what we've seen with our hyenas, I've brought you to see a brand new mother. My name is Jamie, and this is my favorite predator. I'd like to introduce you to a female called Gwen. Now, Gwen, or the viewers have nicked, this name comes from our incredible and loyal viewers. Now, Gwen has got one tiny little cub in there, at least one, she might have two. And I'm really hoping that in our last few moments, the little black bundle of fluff might just stick its head out, but it's not going to do that if I speak too loudly. So we're going to have to whisper our way through the last few moments of this incredible day. And as the evening light descends, our chances of this cub coming out get stronger and stronger. And it's just like the animals knew that it was Father's Day, or at least at Father's Day weekend. We've had babies galore. We've had Mvula, the dominant male leopard of this area, who has sired countless generations of leopard cubs. Yes, hello, girl. Hello, gorgeous. How's your baby? I said to you at the start of this safari that I would hope that I could change your perception of hyenas as something mean and malignant and horrible and thieves. They are the most, please take my word for it, they are the most incredible animals. And if we can share the sighting of this little cub with you, it would be only the third time that we have ever seen it, and it will be about to become probably one of the most famous hyena cubs in the world. And the best thing about this is that you can follow its story, and Shadow's cub's story, and Mvula's story, and all of the incredible Sindile's story, all of the incredible characters that you have met today. You can continue to follow these stories for weeks and for months to come. And the joy, as you could tell from our afternoon today, the joy of these live safaris is that we cannot script it, we cannot plan it. The animals write their own stories, and it is just up to us to tell you them. I'm going to say goodbye for now. Hopefully our little cub makes an appearance before the end, but I don't know if it's going to. But while I sit and wait patiently, let's go over to Brent with something very large.
And the incredible safari isn't over just yet. We're being blessed with a nice herd of eddies just before the end. So we're on a live African safari. We've seen leopards, we've seen hyenas, and let's go across, and we've got elephants for the last little bit. And thanks very much for joining us. And remember, we do this every day. This is Safari Live, and have a great Father's Day weekend. Remember, tomorrow morning, we'll be doing the exact same thing, same time. But I'm sure you're tired of me talking. Let's end on that beautiful elephant.